What's going on, guys? Hope you're all doing fantastic. We're here with another At Night Aquarium series. It's not quite night yet, it's about 7 o'clock. Dark will be in about an hour and a half. And we're going to be looking at this tank tonight. Nothing too crazy, kind of the same as the other 29s we have set up next to it. We've already seen the purple gumbo and the red mosaic dragon, and it's only fair that we look at the Vienna in the middle of these two as well. So again, like I said, this is a 29 gallon. We will be moving them, besides the breeding pair that's going to be left in here, into an 80 gallon inside that's emptied out at the moment. So they will be going in there once we get that ready. However, for the moment, they've been in here and for a little while. They've been in here for probably about 6 months. And they've done alright. We also moved a large portion of these fish to a pond where they've been doing okay. And we also have a strain we bred from this that we have out here as well. And one thing I think we should take notice of is this is why we are filming these outside aquariums at night. Because even with reduced lighting, you can see how hard it is to see in these aquariums just with all the ambient light. So it still has a large amount of glare and just a little bit of a haze that you can see through. And we'll notice once we cut out all of the background light and we just have our key directional light, which will be this light right here, that it'll look completely different. And so really how a lot of people make the tanks look the way they do in videos and images isn't necessarily the light they're using or anything like that, or it's light isolation, so to speak. So the more you can cut out any light for how you want to do it, the better your fish tank's going to look. It's a little bit cheating, I think, to say that's how it always looks and that's how it would look anywhere. Your position of your fish tank in your house or wherever it's at will greatly affect what it looks like. If you put it next to a window, you're going to have a different effect than if you have it in a dark room with no windows. And that can be for better or worse. I'm not saying one's better than the other. When natural light from the sunset or sunrise hits through a window into a fish tank, it creates a very interesting effect, and generally plants will pearl under natural light easier than they will artificial light. So, I mean, there's pros and cons to both, but it does affect how it looks. And we will see proof of that here in just a couple minutes. So here we do have our tank finally at night. It is, however, a few days later, as I was having trouble actually getting it to not look a little bit grainy. I can't figure out what's going on here with the lighting. Maybe somebody can help me out in the comments and know what the heck is going on with my camera for this particular fish tank. Anyways, this is probably one of our rarest fish we own, and I'm going to get more into that. But first, let's break down what we're looking at. As always, we're looking at another 29 gallon, same as our other two, set up in a very similar fashion, full of Hornwort and Taiwan lilies planted below. Now, the reason we're doing this is we're trying to propagate a lot of Taiwan lilies, and they are a fairly tall growing plant, so it is more, I guess, efficient to plant Taiwan lilies in our 29 gallons where they have more vertical growth room than in some of our other tanks. So that's why we are filling our 29s with baby Taiwan lilies and waiting for them to grow. And Hornwort is in all of these as it's an excellent nutrient absorber, so it's assisting in keeping our aquarium chemicals balanced and preventing algae growth or any kind of bacteria explosion, anything like that. So that's why we're floating Hornwort in all of them while the lilies grow out. But back to the fish. This is one of our few fish with an origin story. Let's
get into it. So I actually pulled up the footage. Now this is from the, I believe it was the 2017 Guppy Championships in Vienna, Austria. So I believe this would be either the European Grand Champion or the World Grand Champion. Here is the actual footage of those fish that won. So these are the, this is the pair of fish. So this is, you can compare it to what we have. And we did get these from Aquarium Co-op. You can see Corey here actually flew these fish home after paying an exorbitant amount for them. So he really wanted them and ended up getting them and then breeding them out. Now he only sells locally, so we actually purchased them from somebody who purchased them from him, since we do not live near or in Seattle. So that is kind of how we came to acquire this fish and its background story as to why it's one of our rarest fish, as it had quite the journey to get to us. Now we've had this fish since about 2020, so a few years now, and it's done excellent. It is one of the harder guppies to maintain, as it does throw off a lot of color variations that you have to be careful for, different patterns and things like that. So this is pretty much what it's supposed to look like, which is a red-orange body coloration and vertical stripes on the body that can be black. And it also occasionally has a dot, like a circle dot, just kind of like Japan Blue does, but it's black on its cheek. Now this guppy is very active compared to other guppies. It's a good bit smaller as well, and that probably has the contributing factor right there. Since it's a little smaller, they have less energy to move around with, or require less energy to move around with, so they can do it a bit more often and rapid. And that's kind of what we see. It was a little bit hard to film these guys as well because they don't like to stand still. Even if you rewind and go back and look at that YouTube video, they put theirs in slow motion just to film them in a little 2-gallon tank. So in a 29 where there's lots of room, they like to kind of go where they want. And that is something to appreciate if you want a more active guppy, is the Vienna Guppy is quite a bit more active compared to some of the Dumbo ears or larger flowing tailed guppies. They tend to move a little less just because it's more strain on their body. Now we actually don't have too many of the Vienna right now. We did we sold quite a bit of these off in the last 6 months that we had. We had a good surplus of them, a good colony, and we just did what we tried to do, which is give them to other people and spread this fish around in pairs, of course, so everyone can breed their own. But what we do have is a ton of fry, and we are about to take a look at those. So the fry here this is not a strain that really eats their fry for whatever reason. I don't know why some strains tend to target their fry, some way more aggressively than others. This one's pretty much non-existent in the targeting of fry. I've never really noticed it, which is something I definitely keep an eye on, as if you'll see 30-40 fry and then a couple days later you only notice 5, that's a big issue. But that does not seem to be the case with these. However, like I was saying before, this is a fish that will throw some random genetic variations and change up the color pattern, so you probably, if you want to preserve this fish for multiple generations, you probably want a spare tank to put the culls in. This would be my suggestion, a community tank or a separate tank or something like that. Yeah, you can kind of see the fry in the background there for some size comparison. There is just so many, and Hornwort is the pretty much perfect plant for them just to kind of feel safe in. You'll see all the larger fish, the adults so to speak, are hanging out in the more open space, kind of where they feel comfortable. All the fry are going to be doing the same thing and hanging out where they feel safe, which is in the covered areas. Now, most of the time, Male guppies are the ones you have to look out for with their coloration and pattern variations. However, the females also produce two different types. The correct type is more of a tan color with a slightly pink and yellow tail and pink top fin. As you can kind of see from this fish, she's pretty much a perfect example of what you're looking for in the female. This is Panda Cory. This is the Corydoras we have in our tank. For now, we do not have as many pandas as we do other varieties. For whatever reason, we just haven't had the pandas breed as much. I'm not sure why that is, if they breed in different conditions or something, but we just haven't been able to breed them like we have the albinos and the emerald cories. You can see here they really don't mind swimming up to the top or whatever occasionally, even though they are bottom feeders and kind of scavengers. But back to our Vienna Fry here, you can see them just kind of hanging out where they feel comfortable, just like the large adult fish, which is pretty much at the surface and in cover or near cover. And as soon as they feel threatened, they will disappear into that cover for safety.